Welcome to the Conscious Living Podcast, conversations to educate, empower, and enlighten our world. An uplifting and inspiring series of conversations and talks with your host, Jackie Woodside. We are educating minds, empowering lives, and enlightening souls to create a world where love prevails. In this engaging podcast, we deliver exciting, positive, transformative talks and teachings designed to elevate your life. Now, let's join our host, Jackie Woodside, for this week's session.
Hello, everyone. Jackie Woodside here, the founder and the host of the Conscious Living Podcast, where we seek to educate, empower, and enlighten our world. I'm just so glad that you're here with us today, one of those people that cares about living life more consciously, that you care about awakening, and that you're curious about what it takes to maybe lift that veil between our physical world and the energetic spiritual world that we find ourselves in. And in today's podcast, I'm going to be bringing someone to the stage who really has an enormous amount to say about this whole notion of how we can live life, if you will, on the other side of the veil. Kimberly Meredith is going to be joining us today, and she is a world-renowned celebrity medical intuitive, medium, healer, media personality, global influencer, cover model, and a best-selling author of the Hay House book, Awakening to the Fifth Dimension, Discovering Your Soul's Path to Healing. Kimberly has had 2 near-death experiences and was blessed with healing gifts from the Holy Spirit based on those. She hosts the Medical Intuitive Miracle Show on Mind Body Spirit FM, a syndicated hit broadcasting worldwide on Blog Talk Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all other platforms. So Kimberly has been a keynote speaker at the LA Conscious Life Expo, the New Living Expo, the New Life Expo, and other venues like the Omega Institute. She's also been on ABC News, CBS, Coast to Coast AM, Harper's Bazaar. So Kimberly has, she has some chops in the media because she has an amazing message to share with the world. So Kimberly, it's such an honor really to bring you to the Conscious Living Podcast. I'm grateful for your time with us and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for having me here. It's really an honor to be with you. I admire your work as well.
Thank you. Is there anything that you want to say or flesh out about your bio, maybe that I didn't hit on or you want to expand on a little bit more to get our listeners, so our listeners can get to know you a bit?
Well, one of my main things that I don't maybe talk about enough, but I do, and how I got discovered is through my healing work. I love being a healer. And I have a clinic in LA where it's open to many people. I serve Los Angeles where I live, and I do laying on hands healing. And I've been tested a lot of institutes for my energy healing that I do. And I am a Reiki master, but I've been doing healing since I was little. I would rub my hands together and lay hands on my grandmother, and she had chronic asthma. And I didn't know that when I was young. And I would do healing on her. I do healing on animals when I was really little. And I actually had brought a bird back to life when I was around a year old.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So when you were young like that, I don't mean at one, but as you were a young child and were doing these healings, were you conscious of what you were doing, or was it almost like the healing energies were coming right through you?
No, I was already blinking. So I do message code blinking through my eyes. And I was blinking. My grandfather was friends with some filmmakers. He was also a fisherman, and he would build yachts and go over to Catalina with some filmmakers, and they loaned him an 8mm camera. So he was filming me blinking. They thought I had some that I was autistic.
Autistic, yeah.
Uh, and they thought, I had these conditions, but I was blinking and communicating with the omnipresent at a young age. And I was rubbing my hands together and saying, heal, heal.
Yeah. So for those of us, our listeners who might not know what blinking code is, can you explain, like, first of all, what is it? And then how did you go from being diagnosed as potentially autistic to just having this spiritual gift that you bring through?
Well, at a young age, I was blinking and laying hands, and then I pushed it away. One of my parents said, not to do that. So I stopped it from happening. And then in my book, Awakening to the Fifth Dimension, it talks about how I had two near-death experiences about a decade ago. And after that, I always was into caring for people. I had a nursing career and I worked in the medical field on camera on many television shows. And I worked in health and wellness my whole life. So I always wanted to help people. I always heard help people, help people. So I went into the medicine area. And then after my near death experiences, I became a full blown trance channel. And lo and behold, you can't stop who you're meant to be. My eyes started blinking again. And I thought that was very unusual because I had forgotten about the blinking. And when I had my NDE, two of them, which were quite profound, I lost my life. I coded on the table at Cedar Sinai, and my eyes started blinking about, I'd say 6 months after I had left my body. I started having this blinking coming back. And the blinking is not just something like blinking, it is my communication with the afterlife and also God. And these codes are different communications with different numbers and frequencies. And so when I was little, of course, they weren't like they are now, which is multiple dimensionals and codes and numbers. And so this is about 9 years of studies of these different codes and blinkings that communicate different frequencies.
Okay, yeah. That's what I wanted to kind of start with is understanding that. So it's not like you're blinking your eyes, but your eyes are blinking. And how do you translate the blinking into the messages?
Well, this is different ways. So I'm a medical intuitive. So when I'm scanning people for root cause conditions,
Yeah.
that's messages I get from my guides. And that's information that comes from the medical information. When
Okay.
I'm reaching information from the afterlife, when I'm doing readings for mediumship readings, those are different messages that come in.
Okay, sure. I'm still trying to understand how the blinking turns into an actual message.
Well,
Like how
that just meets, that's just the way that I channel the guides that
okay.
come in.
And
Yeah,
so then you're able to turn the blinking into words, so into a message for people.
absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's the piece that I was missing. So
Not only do I blink, I sign language, I turn my head, I listen to all the spirit guides through the left ear. Because after my near-death experience, which I coded, came back and had a blunt trauma, I only hear spirit through my left ear.
oh, that's funny. That's funny. So what happened with your near-death experiences? You said you had two of them. You coded, you left your body. What happened that, I mean, that's wild. That it's actually just, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I had someone on the show who also had, I think, three near-death experiences. So I must be attracting that late.
I don't know if it's really wild. I mean, NDEs are happening to hundreds and hundreds of people. I mean, Daniel Brinkley had like 16 NDEs. I mean, near-death experiences are very common. People are out of body and leaving their bodies all the time. I mean, um, my near-death experience, I never knew it was an NDE really until I was out of my body during
Yeah.
coded and left my body and
Yeah.
flatlined. So if I hadn't probably went out of my body, Jackie, I would never be sitting here and channeling to you. I'm called a trance medium. There's psychics, there's mediums, there's channels. Because I went out of my body, I'm now able to serve people and do the work I do, and go back to where I really came into the world, which is being of service. Because all the time that I wasn't being who I was, which was blinking and being of service as a baby,
Yeah.
I was actually not really comfortable who I really was,
Mm.
throughout my life. I loved being a nurse assistant. I loved being on those floors and doing everything. But now I get to be who I really am.
Yeah. Yeah. You must feel so at home in yourself, really just coming out.
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah.
coming experience.
Yeah. I'm a trance channeler. There's a lot of psychics and mediums. I am a psychic medium, but I'm a healer and a trance channeler, meaning um, I can lay hands on people and dissolve matter off their body in a few seconds. And I listen to spirit through the left ear. So not only do I find the root cause of what's going on in the body, I hear in my left ear, remove it. So I
Okay.
lay hands and dissolve things off people's bodies. If you're willing to let that happen, you have to be involved in that process. The person has to be involved in that process. That's why it's called the fifth dimension. Taking people way up to the 5D, going into that fifth dimensional energy, which is where we all want to be. We want to be in that fifth dimension and higher energy.
Beautiful. I love that. I know you told me earlier that your abilities and your powers have kind of developed, and you now see signs, symbols, numbers, and you call that, the guides are calling that soul frequency readings. I love that. So,
Yeah.
can you say more about that, the soul frequency readings, what it is, how that's developed in you?
Yeah, that just started um, right around when COVID happened. So
Okay.
the fifth dimension was when I had the near-death experience, and then I came home from the hospital. I started channeling the blinking and the frequencies of the 5D, and I got discovered laying hands, dissolving tumors and energies off. And the guys were telling me to say to people, "You're in the fifth dimension," and all that. Getting us into the fifth dimension is where the energy frequencies to go. And then during COVID, what happened was that I would be doing these rooms and we were online a lot, and I would start seeing numbers and frequencies of like 11s and 8s and 3s and 4s over people's heads.
Mm,
And I would turn my head. Of course, they speak to me only in the left ear because I lost hearing in the right after my NDE because of my hit. I was thrown into the street when I had the accident and I got hit. So I have hearing to the left where the spirits speak. So I would see numbers over people. Those numbers are a soul frequency path number to communicate with that individual's specific soul frequency number. Also, the relatives will come in and they'll speak to me in the left ear and say a message to a particular person. Usually people have up to, I say, 7 frequency numbers that communicate a story to an individual person of what's going to happen in the next 9 years to their life.
wow.
The first 4 numbers, I get goosebumps. The first 4 numbers are fixed numbers, meaning you come in with your 4 fixed numbers of your life path, the Elohim, God. God has many names. So the first 4 fixed numbers are your numbers. So you can't get away from that. So say you're really good at business, but maybe you're born with a 4. 5 usually means very talented at business, but you could be like a double 5. So I see those numbers really quick on people. But say you're born with a 4, meaning you're all heart, you're an angelic being, meaning you may be very good at business, but someone may say, I am a 4, meaning you always go with your heart, but you're very
Mm,
good at business. I also do numbers and frequencies. They do, not me. I'm not attached to my work because they use me for the work. Um, with a partner or a corporation or maybe moving, they come in, the guides, and help figure out where you're running into blocks. And so that someone may come to me for a private reading and say, I'm in a relationship. Can you read their numbers with mine? Or I'm in a corporation. Can you read my numbers with that? I'm feeling like this happening. It's like going against. There's numbers for all of that the guides will come in and help figure that out. The whole world is a big frequency.
mm.
And also the years ahead have all these frequencies and numbers coming up. It's sort of like Einstein and Tesla all coming in and speaking to me.
Wow, that's a lot of energy. There, the guides are here to communicate messages, about global consciousness. What are they trying to tell us?
They're really trying to tell us to good care of ourselves, and also to keep moving forward. Stop thinking about the past. The past is over and gone. We only can go in the 11s, which is the direction of opening up our minds to new things, thinking out of the box, being open to all of this, understanding that if someone is saying, I was healed today by rubbing my hands together, activating the energy of God omnipresent, putting it on my neck and saying, leave my body now. I'm in the higher dimension. I am healed. Therefore, you are healed. It's not hard to go in this higher frequency. It's actually pretty easy. They just keep showing the 11s over and over again, meaning we can break through any dimension. We're multidimensional people.
Wow. For listeners that may be new to this, Kimberly, can you say more specifically, what does fifth dimensional energy mean? What does that mean?
It's magical, it's loving, it's joyful, it's calming, it's doing it, believing it, seeing it. We could talk about it all day, Jackie, but unless you actually see it and have it done to you,
Yeah.
you can't really understand it. Like in my book, the beginning of the book talks about me and my NDE. People love that, but if they don't get to the middle and back of the book where all the scientific research and documented case studies are, then you go, aha,
Mm.
because these people have had a fifth dimensional occurrence, people that have had a miracle happen. So because I'd worked my whole life since I was a kid. Like when I was 13, I was like, Mom, can I work at the hospital? Can I work at the hospital? And I was the one nurse assistant that when they would say, I was already in the fifth dimension when I was a kid because I was raised by, my mom was an alcoholic and she died young. And I always wanted to save my mom, but I couldn't. But when I was at the hospital, I was the one person when the doctor would say, call the code, I would hear, no, they're going to live. And I would want to jump on the body and keep resuscitating. Or I would put a warm blanket on the body.
Mm.
And I remember praying the Hail Mary, even though I was raised in a Jewish family, but they would come back. Their eyes would open. So I'm like that even today with my clients. I can hear if someone's still going to make it, even though somebody says they only have a few days to live, because everybody deserves a miracle. So the fifth dimension is that someone has a bleeding ulcer or someone has a brain tumor. Does that really mean it's over? No, because who's the higher court? Who calls it?
I love this. This is so great. Kimberly, you said something just a minute ago that I want to ask you about. You said, and people can think about it, but until they experience it, they really don't have a sense of it. And I'm wondering, you tell me if this is possible. I don't know if it is or not. Rather than you and I talking about soul frequency readings, can you do one on me now so that people who are watching and listening this podcast really get a sense of, oh, that's what it looks like. That's what she's talking about. Is that possible, or is that not something we can do publicly?
Well, a soul frequency reading, yes. Laying on hands, I do publicly. And YouTube channel, you can watch Laying on Hands. Um, uh, that's something really cool to come out and see. When you see a tumor or like something really big, like a goiter dissolve right in front of your eyes, then you're like, whoa.
Yes.
Those types of things are so fifth dimensional rad. And that's just so cool. When I'm out in public at the expos and people have seen those things completely dissolve, I mean, or even in my rooms where we're online, those things are super cool. And those are actually the reality of what is going on right now. I'd love to do a soul frequency reading on you, where I do the number frequencies, which
Yeah.
are super, super important right now, the channeling readings.
Yeah.
Now I feel we could take a deep breath. A few numbers for you that are coming up for me. I'm gonna get my paper out. I could just do that. Um,
Yeah, Kimberly, I want this to be real and practical for people so they really have a sense of like, oh, and then they'll reach out to you and want to do the same
I
thing.
mean, yeah, I love doing readings. They're saying right now a few of the numbers that come up for me with you. When you came into the world, they're saying, so just take a deep breath. You really came in. You were already coming in with a sense of spirituality. They're showing me the sign of the seven. Um, I don't know if you felt like that when you were really little, like you already had a sense of God around you,
I did. Yep, absolutely.
already had this really strong sense of spirituality. They're saying also there was somebody close to you. They're showing me the sign of the eight, like a soulmate or a strong sense. I don't know if it was a mother or a grandmother, but they're showing me the sign of the eight. I don't know if a grandmother crossed over when you were young
Yeah.
or
No,
if
I was close to both of my grandmothers, though.
yeah, they're showing me an eight and they're showing me the real strong sense of an eight. Did a grandmother cross over now?
No, no, I'm too old for that. My grandmothers both passed a long time ago.
Yeah, they're saying, but they've been around you for a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah.
Yeah, they're showing me a grandmother is over now and is with you now. Yeah.
Mm, beautiful.
They're also showing me a sense of community, like a strong nine. Family is really important to you. They're blinking really strong about family.
Yeah.
They're also showing me you're on a strong mission. They're showing me the sign of the 10 for you.
Mhm.
Um, about a grandmother. They're also talking about they keep pushing your grandmothers keep pushing in right now. Did one of your grandmothers, did one of them pass away of something that had to do something with the lower stomach area?
No,
What did they pass away of? Because they keep talking about something with a lower stomach issue or
one
hip or
had a
something.
heart attack and the other one just died with all, she had Alzheimer's and dementia and finally passed with it.
Oh, okay, because one of them is talking about maybe they're talking about your health.
Okay.
Oh, okay, because they're going about something in the lower back or something a hip, but they are going about something of the low back or hip.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I have an injury. I have a left lower hip injury.
That's what they're talking about you.
Okay.
Yeah, them is tattling on you, saying something about your low back or hip.
Yeah, yeah, my left hip, I have an injury from this summer when I was doing some athletics things and it just isn't getting better.
Well, they're like around you all the time and watching about that. Both of them, two eight. So the eight means they're your soulmates.
Hmm.
Anyway, they're saying they're really proud of you. They're glad you're on this mission. That's the sign of the 10. So they're really glad about that. Do you want to ask a question to them?
To the grandmothers, is that what you
They're-
mean?
Yeah, they're on both sides of you.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sure. I'm curious what you said that they said they're proud of me. And just to validate and affirm, Kimberly, I've had other readings that said the exact same thing, that my grandmothers were proud of me and that my grandmothers are a strong force in my life. So I've had other readings that said the exact same thing. I would love their guidance and direction on the film that I'm working on and, what's next. I'm building a home up on one of our family properties, and I would love to hear their thoughts about that. Yeah, and my career, what's next for my career, the film and the home that we're building.
They're not telling me about what's next. They're just saying stay on your mission. They're not talking about what's next for you right now. They were mostly concerned, like they're because I'm a medical intuitive, they're talking about on and on about the hip. They're talking about doing collagen. Are you taking collagen?
No.
Yeah, so they want to go back to your hip again. They're talking about taking a collagen. There's an organo silica gel collagen that's really great.
Okay.
You want to write that down, organo?
I'll have it on this recording.
Okay,
So
okay, yeah. And they're talking about you already are going to be, it's like set in stone from above about your mission. So
yeah,
we could always do a longer reading on that. They're saying your mission, the film is going to do, they're showing me like from 1 to 5, a 4, which is excellent.
nice.
So the film's going to do excellent. Um, they're talking about the future, like moving forward, because you asked that to them about building that strong community, that
Mhm.
spiritual community, and not only spiritual community, mainstream community too. It's
Yeah.
going to be really important. They're talking about, yeah. So that's
Yeah,
really
that's what we keep
cool.
saying about the film, that we want it to be a crossover film, that people from
Yeah.
the mainstream will really see the validity of conscious living and spiritual living.
And they're talking about like also like a perfume. Do you wear like perfumes?
No,
Then they're talking about like being around flowers of some sort. I don't know why. I didn't know if it was perfume or flowers, but they were talking about something about you and flowers or nature. Like they like when you're outside in the nature.
yeah, nature for sure, huge. And the summer home that I'm building, or the second home, is it's very much in the country. It's right on a huge river,
Okay, yeah.
in the
And they're
middle of
saying when
nowhere.
you're around the nature, they're there with you. And when you're in prayer and meditation,
Mhm.
call both of them in. So that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you,
The
Kimberly.
last
Again, I
thing,
really wanted our listeners and those watching to have a sense of, what this looks like and how you call these in and the numbers that you get. It's really beautiful.
yeah. And the last thing about the health, they want to say one more thing just to take a deep breath, inhale and exhale. As you're going on with your journey, Jackie, with your work to help so many people, because it's really important what you do in the world, they're saying, um, this will help the healing part. They're saying to make sure you're taking a good vitamin. Are you taking a good multiple vitamin?
I'm not.
Yeah, and good water, like spring water would be really good. No plastic.
Yeah, yeah. I drink out of metal or glass to avoid
Because
plastics.
there is some circulation issue going on. I don't know why they're going through the circulation. So like a good multiple vitamin would be really, really helpful, they're
Well,
saying.
that's really great. So when you're scanning somebody as a medical intuitive, Kimberly, did you want to say something more? No, you good. Okay. Tell us about the spirit guides that are assisting you. Is it one that you hear? Is it a whole padre, a whole team? So just tell us more about your guides. Who are they? What are they like? Yeah.
Jackie, it's multiple guides that come through that work with me over the years. The main one is, and the forward to my book was by one of the most amazing men that I got to work with for several weeks was Dr. Norman Shealy.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. And we found out that through the work was Edgar Casey.
Yeah,
He's my main guide, and my brain works super fast. So, like when I'm scanning you, it would be not good to tell you that I do see some circulation issues.
uh-huh.
So, drinking green tea, taking a good multiple vitamin, make sure you got that B12 going, is really important. Drinking good spring water, you're doing. As far as the other guides that come in, I don't like to step on their toes too much, my spirit team, but I do stay very humble because it is not me. The words that do come up, I have found 85% breast cancers in people that have had mammograms and CAT scans, and they then did not pick them up. So when
Wow.
I go over a body within a few seconds,
Mhm.
I can see whether you've had it, where you haven't had it, and whether you do still maybe have something coming up. Um, in a scan with me, like I just go like this, right? Over you.
Mhm.
That's why maybe someone may be asking me for a soul frequency reading, right? You may sign up for that, but you're still going to get a medical scan.
That's got to come through anyway.
I'm so nosy, right?
Right.
These guys are still going to do that. But then the grandmother's going to come into, grandma's like, well, I don't want her to have this going on because we want you to focus on your mission, which is the film and all that other stuff going on.
100%. So your work, your medical intuitive work, you've been studied by a number of scientific research institutes. You mentioned Dr. Norm Shealy. You've been studied by IONS, the Institute of Noetic Sciences. What is it that they studied and what did they find?
Well, that would take another hour to go through all of the studies.
Okay, give us the Cliff Notes version.
Well, each one of those places had different studies that went on, and they were long. But the short study of the double-blind studies with Shealy were various clients that had, different heart and brain and tumors and cancers and things like that. And, to be frank, they were easy for me. And I always found a lot more things. So my guides, so say particularly a man would come in with a heart, mitral valve, stent, and I was supposed to scan them and find that. I always found many more things because my guides are my guides. So they'll find all these other things. But the thing with me is that I'll go through every single thing. And then after that, it was part of the healing. Is that what I did? I went through, and what was in the first beginning of the book that you may look at is that I, on one of the patients that we had, and Shealy was not an easy person to do the work with because he was very, very strict and he didn't like to do a lot of studying on a lot of people. And I think with Carolyn Meese, she was different than me, where I'm a healer. And my best day that I did with him is when we dissolved a very large nodule, and that's in the book. And I'll never forget that she was supposed to have it operated on. And I don't know if you know about removing nodules. They're very dangerous. They can spread.
Okay.
And I laid hands on it and it dissolved. For me, it's just another day at the office because that's what I've been doing since I was little, even. But I never really came to grips with it until after the NDE, and I started doing it, in public.
Yeah, yeah.
And it dissolved. And he was sitting across the room. I'll never forget it. And the lady went, "It's gone." And he had touched it before,
Yeah.
went back and sat down. And then we were filming it. And he came back over and he felt it. And I'll never forget, he looked at me and he went like that. He just shook his head. And I think he was just, I don't know, it's kind of like what happens now. People when it's gone, they look at me and they look at their friend that's in the room or something. I think people still are kind of amazed. They're thankful and grateful, but
Yeah.
they don't kind of still understand this dimension. And I always say, please don't thank me. Thank God, thank the omnipresent. When they go back to their doctor and they get a scan and the doctor say, it's gone, they always sort of thank the Eastern medicine or maybe a vitamin or a medication or something. They do thank me sometimes, and I say, please don't thank me. Thank God, thank the omnipresent, thank the fifth dimension. The more you're in gratitude, the more you're thankful, the more you are understanding this is the higher court, the more it'll stay off you. It is a darker energy that's coming on you, which causes disease. Um,
Why, Kimberly? Why do some people end up with darker energies and diseases and other people don't? Like, how do you make sense of that?
why and what ifs aren't really a reality.
Yeah.
It's because ego or I go, It can happen to all of us, any of us. It happens to me. We
Yeah.
have to stay in a constant reality of gratitude.
Mhm.
Um,
And that's like fifth dimensional energy, awakening
yeah,
fifth
yeah.
dimensional energy.
I
Yeah.
mean, I've done so many healings, and so many people have not thanked me or God or the energy of healing them. In fact, I'd say most people that have been healed of massive tumors that are gone,
Yeah.
um, have not been thankful. Then they are thankful. To understand human nature
Yeah.
is to understand why we're here. This is a journey we're on.
Yes. Yeah.
Norman Shealy always said, they can't be as great as us, Kimberly.
What what does that mean?
Meaning not everybody can understand this energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything is energy and matter. Dark energy can come in and dark energy can leave.
Mm.
People don't understand it is not that complicated.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is easier than we think.
Well, what do you mean by dark energy?
What do you know about good energy? There's dark energy and good energy.
So I'm thinking good energy is loving and kind and generous and patient and produces wellness. So is dark energy that which is restrictive and unloving and unkind? Is that how you would?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Dark energy is third dimensional energy.
Well, we're in third dimensional living, right? I mean, we're here in a 3D
Exactly.
world.
Yeah,
So you're saying there's a lot of dark energy around us.
I would say so.
Yeah, I mean,
And
right?
there's
All
a
you have
lot
to
of,
do is pick up your phone and open an app for the news, and you'll see how much dark energy is around us.
yeah. And then there's a lot of good energy too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it feels very drastic right now, kind of on different sides of the
Yeah,
cultural divide that we're
right.
in.
We have a choice to choose what energy we want to have in our lives.
Yeah. I love that. And the more we choose the higher energies, love, oneness, peace, connection, support, is that what will usher in more of fifth dimensional energy?
We're already in the fifth dimensional energy. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So say more about that.
I feel like we already have been talking about that so much already.
Okay.
Those steps are already happening right now. We have a choice to move into that dimension.
Right, to move it, exactly. You said we're in it already, and I want to understand that. I don't agree or disagree. I just because it certainly feels like there's a lot of discordant energy of, separation and division and, not even just here in the United States, but I mean, kind of looking globally at what's happening. But I do agree, there's a lot of good things happening in the world as well. There's amazing things happening in the world. So yeah, help me parse that out a bit.
I feel like to move more into the fifth dimension, daily meditation, prayer, eating well, going in groups that help support you, being around people that are like-minded, soul tribe people. There are daily practices that help people move into that higher dimension. Moving away from third dimensional consciousness is a very important thing right now for people. And how you do that is by reading books like mine, reading books by other spiritual people, and understanding that to blanket ourselves away from what's going on, we need to know what's going on. It's important to know what's going on. But for me, as a channel, I don't speak out about politics right now. My guides keep me to help people understand, to raise our awareness through food and wellness and spirituality how to do that is to help our brothers and sisters.
Mm.
And in my book, I talk about all these steps, not to drink out of the faucet, like the tap water, to drink good water, to put uh, really good filters on our shower. We don't want to get bad diseases right now. There's a lot of things going on in the next year that we need to stay closer to our loving brothers and sisters.
Mm.
Raise ourselves in this high fifth dimension energy. We can do it. Yes, we can. We can. By
Beautiful.
helping each other. Like I was saying, go out to nature,
Yeah.
going to the television, going to, social medias and things, and seeing all this stuff that we are going to be seeing is important to keep informed. But what's important is to keep ourselves in this high frequency. 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day of prayer and meditation, finding like-minded souls. Like I have prayer group, meditation group, is very important. Yes, getting up to that 5D and beyond energy is going to save us, keeping our heart consciousness in this high dimension frequency in love and
Beautiful.
light.
Such an important message, Kimberly, that you are bringing to the world. Your healing work obviously is changing lives, but just the frequency that you're bringing through who you are, and then that you're teaching and able to speak so clearly and eloquently about in, the work that you do, podcast shows like mine, the television shows. You're also working on a new book. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. It's the soul frequency book
Yeah.
about that, and also how to move into new types of work.
Mm.
Because what's going to happen is that you may need to reinvent yourself in the next few years.
Yeah.
And reinventing your lifestyle, reinventing maybe who your partners are, reinventing how we're going to live in the next few years. And not to be afraid of that, to understand that it's okay to let go of the old. And like you just said, understand that we have guides on the other side. Sometimes it's not just a few guides. We have a guide for romance. We have a guide for health. We have a guide for making money, abundance. And money is not a bad word. Money is passion. Money is good. Money is helpful for us, but maybe what you were doing before is not working anymore. You can make money in new ways, and it can be fun and happy. So we can find out who your guide is. My guides help you with this through the soul frequency numbers. And it is amazing. And I'm teaching classes right now doing this. So this new book that I'm working on is called In the Soul. I'm not exact name yet, but Soul Frequency. And I do these soul frequency readings now too.
Beautiful. I love that. I can't wait for your next book to be out.
Thank you. Thank
Really
you, Jackie.
wonderful. Kimberly, I so appreciate you being with us today. The knowledge, the wisdom, and just the consciousness that you are bringing to this show is really just such a blessing. So thank you so much for being here with us. I know people are going to want to get in touch with you and maybe get a reading from you. What's the best place for people to find you?
Thank you, Jackie, so much for having me. I'm at thehealingtrilogy.com.
Okay, great. Thehealingtrilogy.com. Kimberly Meredith, amazing channel, psychic, and healer. It's just such an honor to be with you today. Thank you for being here on the show.
Thank you for having me on Conscious Living Podcast.
Awesome.